Casey Gray here from The Conscious Builder. And on today's episode, we have Bettina Vollmerhausen on from the Ottawa Tool Library. She is the co-founder. They opened their doors in 2015. They were founded in 2014, but she has some fantastic stories about what has happened since the pandemic, and not only because of the pandemic, but because of something else in the business. So small businesses right now are struggling for a lot of different reasons, especially here where we are. There's a lot of shutdowns. And when you're shut down and you rely on having to be open in order to generate income, it's very difficult, especially when it's a not-for-profit like the Ottawa Tool Library. So I won't hold you up anymore. I love Bettina's energy. She has a lot to share. It's very inspiring, and enjoy this episode. Bettina, welcome to the show. So happy to have you here. There's lots of exciting things going on, so I can't wait to get into some details.
Thank you for having us. I'm very excited to share our stories, especially since the Tool Library is at a new phase in our lives. So lots to talk about today.
Yeah. So, well, let's just get right into it. Let's start with, what exactly is a tool library? And then after that, I'd be curious to know how you got involved with the tool library and why. But first explain what it is. I know you do a lot, but maybe if you can give us a high level, we'll get into some more details after.
Absolutely. So a tool library is a place where you can borrow tools instead of books. That's essentially what it is. Our tool library has an array of tools, actually currently over 2,500 tools. We have hand tools, power tools, kitchen tools, and garden tools. And so anything from your garden trough that you might need right now to a planer, a jointer, screwdrivers, we have it all. We have our inventory online. So if you ever need to look for anything, you wonder if we have it, you can come and check that out. We are a volunteer-run organization. It's actually a friend of mine, Frederick, and we went out for a beer. Good things happen over a beer.
Yeah, and
my friend Frederick there was actually a napkin involved.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, seriously, it's like that cliche. Absolutely. And he was telling me over a beer how he had just bought a tile cutter versus renting it from Home Depot because it was cheaper to buy it. And he knew full well he'd never use that thing afterwards. He's like, and it sits in my basement. And I was like, I know there should be tool libraries, and because there's tool libraries all around, and Ottawa needs one. Yeah, that would be great. Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, someone should start that. Maybe 10 days later, I had to go to Toronto for something else. And there's a tool library in Toronto. And I thought, I'm going to go check that out. And I went and checked it out. And I just by chance was there when both the founders were there. And so I got a tour of everything. I saw people who came in to borrow tools, how excited they were. And, them showing me on their phone the things they had built with the tools. And I was like, oh my God, Ottawa totally needs this. So on the train ride back, I get back on the phone with Frederick. I was like, Frederick, we got to do this. Like, not next year. We got to do it. Let's just do it. And so it was actually from September, the beer. In November that year, that's 2014, we ended up applying to be part of Soup Ottawa. It is a microgrant initiative where grassroots organization can present their project, and then people who have bought tickets to come and have soup that night. So literally you get a bowl of soup and some bread. It's always supplied by a local bakery and a local restaurant. And for $10, people come and listen to various project presentations. So you have 5 minutes for a presentation on your project and 5 minutes for Q&A where everyone can ask questions about it. And at the end, people vote, and they vote and say, that's a great project. I really think we want to support that. At the end of the evening, those votes get counted. And then depending if there were 50 people or 100 people in the room, there might be X amount of money. So the night that we were presenting, we ended up winning. We ended up taking over $1,300 in prize money and a micro grant actually from everyone who was there, and take that home. And what was the great money sure enough helps, but with $1,300 you can't start a business either. Yeah. But it sure helps out a little bit.
You can
right?
buy more beer and napkins, but
that's right, absolutely. But what really was the great thing was the community around it. Soup Ottawa is about grassroots funding. And also there's people there, right? All of a sudden there are people, hey, I can donate some tools. My dad passed away and I don't know what to do with the tools. I'm not a handy person and I'd love for you guys to have them and other people to use them. Or people like, you need some space, maybe, I can help you out, and this kind of thing. So that's the community connection. It was fantastic. And not only for us, even though we ended up winning, but even for everybody else, there was another group that needed something and they were being able to be finding some help. And so these are fantastic events, and unfortunately can't happen right now during the pandemic, but they're fantastic. That really got us kickstarted. So this happened at the end of November. We incorporated our not-for-profit, and then we had lots of people sign up to volunteer to help us get this going. And we gained so much momentum because we got a lot of media attention. We were in the local news and Global Mail, on CBC, on the TV, on CTV, everywhere, that people wanted to drop off tools. And we were like, well, we don't have a location. We don't know where. And so initially it was our garage, and then it was a friend's garage. And finally it was like, okay, we're done. We need to really find a place. So as I was saying, $1,300 doesn't go very far. You can't sign a lease with that money. We ran a crowdfunding campaign 2015 and surpassed our goal of $15,000, which helped us set the tool library up. We then found a space, leased it, built it, right? And then had tool drives so people dropped off their tools. We cataloged them, we fixed them. We have tool doctors with us. They assess all the donations. Are they good to use? Are they safe to use? Do they need fixing? And then we opened up the tool library in October 2015 and been running ever since until
Yeah.
actually, you should say running and expanding too, which is great. So our mission was always to not only provide access to the resources, in this case, tools, and sharing resources, hence being better for the environment, being better for people's pocketbooks, and for the community. We also wanted people to have a chance to learn skills in a very safe environment. So we're doing workshops. We held monthly community nights where every last Monday of the month, we invite either people in to speak about something. We had them on plumbing. We had them on all kinds of different topics. Want to get your garden going, and then you can also learn skills with us. So we added a workspace to our tool library part, where we have actually woodworking tools. Essentially, it's a fully stocked wood shop where people can come and work on their project. They bring it in and working on their project with the tools in our workspace. So we have workbenches, and you can just book some time and come on in. Yeah. So we're riding high. Things are going really great. Then, 2020 happened.
Yeah.
Shut down. Whoa, what now? Right. And a slow reopening. Curbside pickup, everyone was learning, everyone's masked, all these health measures for sure, make sure everybody's safe. And then unfortunately last year in November, we were actually subtenants in a bigger space, in a bigger warehouse space here in Ottawa, received an eviction notice. So within 10 days, we had to pack up over 2,300 tools and find a home. And it was really truly only because the community stepped up. We reached out to our members, we reached out to the public, and thankfully got coverage in the news as well. And people called, and it was so sweet. They were like, people were sending us pictures of their little garden shed. If I take my bike out, you can have you can have half the shed this winter and stuff. And other people going, hey, I have, have room in my warehouse. So there were small local businesses that supported us. And some of the items went into Diamond Storage. They gave us a not-for-profit rate. So we eventually moved all our tools into 7 different locations across the city. It was a mammoth undertaking, and obviously also under COVID conditions, right? We could only have a certain amount of people. We could only, be in the space with a lesser amount of people, so we wouldn't be too many. Anyways, it all went into storage. I kind of collapsed, to be honest. I was like, oh my God, that was so stressful. And then we hit the road. We were like, let's go find a new location. And it has been very hard during the pandemic. We wanted to remain city central, and there are not many industrial spaces in the city core. So we could have gone easily, Huntsville, Hunt Club and Maryvale, no problem. Industrial areas, sure, there's lots of space available, but that's not where lots of people reside. It's not easily accessible by public transportation. And so staying in the city was very difficult. We were just like, we don't even know. We've looked for months and months and months, and I've looked at a ton of spaces and nothing was coming about. And then again, it was the community. It was a fellow organization supporting local artisans, and they are called Square Lemon. They put on markets for local artists, and they had a space here in Ottawa and said, you know what, we can't hold markets, nothing's going on, and do you want to take over our lease? And we're like, what? Let me look at the space. Yes, I'm coming over. And so we took over the lease, and we opened up actually yesterday. So our first day was open yesterday, May 12th. We are now currently under the conditions. We don't know what will happen, where it's curbside pickup only. We're doing it twice a week right now on Wednesdays and Saturdays, but we will be opening 5 days a week as soon as we can. So yeah. So it's very exciting.
Yeah, there's been a lot happening. That's for sure. So when you reopen
Yeah.
5 days a week, so are you going to be doing workshops again? Like what's your plan when you officially start opening everything up again?
Yeah, so this obviously is all dependent on the pandemic and the health measurements that are in place. So we have a workshop space. Everything is bigger now. We expanded. So we have a bigger tool library. We have a bigger workshop space. We actually have a tool hospital as well. This is where we repair our own tools. The tool doctors work in there. We have a donation center, and we also have a web store, which actually came about last summer because of the pandemic. Good things came out of it as well, some silver linings. So the the workspace will open again. It is not open currently. Right now, the focus for us was to get up and running for lending out tools, because people were asking us, oh my God, my pipe broke and I need to fix my kitchen sink, and are you guys open when is what's happening? And so we have this open currently, and then we'll work on the setting up workshops again. The great thing about with our location is that we have a garage door, we have a side door, so lots of air in there and fresh air, but we also have an alleyway where we are aiming to put up our tents outside in the summer, and we'll have some other workshops outside as well. So super safe, less amount of people than we had before, and depending what goes on, we'll see how we adapt for the winter. That's what it's all about right now, right? It's like ever changing, and so it's
Every
truly.
day.
Yeah, it's truly an exercise in resilience, let me tell you. Well, I mean, I don't need to tell you, you run a small business as well. So the same everywhere.
So how does it work? So if somebody wants to become a member, how exactly
Mhm.
do they go about becoming a member, and how easy is it to get tools or to book a space?
So you buy a membership on our website. You go to ottawatoolllibrary.com. There's various menus. One is borrow tools, I think, and then sub menus become a member. We have memberships. We have monthly memberships. So all the prices I'm saying right now include tax, because it's easier for us at the front desk. We don't want to deal with pennies and whatever. So it's $40 to become a member for a month, and $200 that includes tax, a yearly membership. That gives you access to all our tools, and there are no other fees. So you can come and borrow any tool you want for up to 1 week, actually. And then the tool goes back in our inventory for it to stay in circulation and to be used by someone else. Having said all this, actually, there are about 9 tools in our inventory of over 2,300 tools that have a loan fee because they're high maintenance costs. For example, planers. We have 3 planers, and when these blades go, they're $90 every single time we have to replace them. So
Right.
certain tools have a maintenance fee, or what we call a loan fee, and otherwise it's free to borrow any tool you want. Because we're right now doing curbside pickup only, you need to reserve the tools. So when you have a membership, once you've bought it, you've basically created an account, you get access to our inventory. You can see the inventory even without being a member. But then once you have a membership, you can then go through the inventory, and I don't know, you're building a deck, you need a chop saw, and you need whatever else, and you click them, and then you shop, like you put it in your cart and you check out and you reserve them. And you also pick a time slot when you can come, so everyone gets 15 minutes, and then you come and show up, pick up your tools and take them home, and off you go.
Simple as that.
That's right, very, very simple. And otherwise, so hopefully eventually we will be open again where people can come in. And it's always easier when you actually can go in, because even last night when we're open, people said, I forgot the safety goggles. Do you have safety goggles? Yes, we do. Oh yeah. Oh, and I forgot the compressor hose. I have a compressor. I don't know, so we were still adding things
Right.
to people's orders. Yeah. And so when you're allowed to walk through, right, you get reminded, you see various tools and you go, oh yeah, I need that too. And this will be helpful too. So
Yeah. So you answered another one of my questions. So you have tool doctors. So you repair tools. So if
yes.
people donate tools, they will, like if I have old tools that we don't use anymore, even if they're busted, I can bring them over and you'll repair them, and assuming they're safe,
So
add
to
them
be
to the
honest,
website.
we prefer to get tools that are in working condition. Um, and then our tool doctors check them to make sure they are safe to use. Often they actually need a replacement of either battery or, obviously saw blades or whatever. And if we can use it in our inventory, it goes into our inventory. But sometimes we will get a donation. We already have 20 chop saws. Do we need more? Probably not, right? We will then check the inventory, how often it's been out, and then we assess it. No, we don't need it. Okay, we work with a lot of community organizations, lots of community gardens as well, who will always reach out to us. Hey, do you have extra rakes, or we need XYZ tool. And so we go down the list and go, can we pass on the tool to someone else? Or in the end, then it ends up in our web store. And so we used to run a garage sale once a year. We were part of the Great Leap Garage Sale. It was a huge event. All year long, we saved up tools for it. And for last year's Great Leap Garage Sale, that was obviously canceled, but we had 14 bins of tools. And we were like, what are we going to do with all these tools? We need to get rid of, like, not rid of them, but we need to keep them back, get them back in circulation for people to use. And so during the pandemic last year, we built a web store. So now you can go to shop.ottawatoollibrary.com, peruse our web store, everything in there. We have some brand new tools that get donated to us that we don't need, we're passing on. We have used tools. Everything's been checked for safety and fixed up, and then you can purchase it there. They're in, really decently priced. What the whole purpose of this is to keep tools in circulation, because what gets donated to us is often it's us or the landfill. Very, very often we get approached by people, especially people who live outside of Ottawa. My dad passed away. I live in Vancouver. He has a wood shop. Would you please go and pack it up? He would love to know that his tools are being used, right? So that's how we come into possession of a lot of these tools. And so we want to see them continue to be used. Can I add something else? I know I have so much to talk about, but another really great thing is, because this team that runs the web store also runs our donation centers. So they triage the tools, it goes to the tool doctors. It goes in the web store maybe, and if we can't use it at all, it's beyond repair or anything else, we then scrap tools. So since we started in 2015, we've had teams of people come and volunteer once a month. They might come in, and it's actually kind of funny because we sometimes say, are you only coming in to work up your aggression, right? Because they're like hammering and they're smashing tools and they're ripping them apart. And then we strip them into the various metals, and we've been dropping them off. So we keep even the metals out of the landfill. So today we've kept over 6,500 pounds out of the landfill. Just
amazing. So that's the waste diversion portion that you guys
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that's fantastic.
Yeah. I have something else to talk about. So while we're open, so we have tool doctors and we have tool ninjas, and the tool ninjas are really project advisors. So they're on the floor. They even also wear curbside pickup right now. They're with us right now, and we have tool librarians as well. So tool librarians check you in and out, right, on our computer, on our database, and then people come and have an extra question. They may have borrowed a tool that I don't actually really know how to operate the chop saw. So, whoa, okay, no, do not use it. We'll show you first. So that's where the tool ninjas come in. They also give you advice on projects, because nowadays a lot of people see really cool things on Instagram or Pinterest, whatever. Oh, I can do that. Download the list of 20 tools, and then the tool ninja might say, hang on, we'll do step 1. This weekend, I'm going to give you XYZ tool. Do that first. Next week and come back and we'll see what you can do next. So so that's how the tool libraries run.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So that's how the tool library is run, really. And it's all volunteer run. Everyone volunteers their time to come in and helps people out. And then we also add later on, once we can, workshops again. Yeah.
Are the repair cafes part of the workshops, or is that something different?
Okay, this is a project dear to my heart. It is a movement that started out of the Netherlands, and it is same thing, keeping things fixed, keeping them repaired. Talk about, it used to be the 3 R's, recycle, and it's like, I think it's now up to number 12, but repair is one of the things to keep things in use, right? You may have bought a lamp at IKEA and the light switch goes. You don't need a new lamp, you just need to replace a light switch on that lamp. And so where are you going to get that done nowadays? So you can come to repair cafes. We help them monthly. There are great events, like sometimes up to 150 people. And the cafe part is actually, there is a cafe as well where people can hang out. We had activities for kids, games to do, things to build. And then you waited your turn until you were called for a fixer to look at your broken item. And it could have been a small appliance, could have been a pair of jeans that, where the button was gone, or there was a rip in it, or whatever it was. And those things were fantastic. We hope to get them started, and we're dreaming we could do one this summer in outside, maybe obviously not at 150 people, whatever we're allowed to do, right? So
right.
Yes.
So it could be anything. So you can bring anything and they're going to show you how to repair it.
Yes, that's correct.
That's
so
fantastic.
You have the option to either learn how to do it, or you can just sit there. Some people go, oh, I'm not touching that. Oh my God, no. Because we get computer stuff sometimes too and stuff. So But very often people actually say, show me, because this has happened before. I don't know how to do this and I want to learn how to do that. So it's whatever you choose to do. And when you register with the fixer related to whatever project you're bringing in, and then you get, it's first come first serve, then you can go and
Very
see
cool.
them.
And then what is the collaboration that you have with Stopgap?
Oh yeah. So Stopgap is an organization here in town that actually is trying to close the gap. So if you think of, especially small businesses often have a step or two to get into a business, or it's just a ledge. It's just maybe a little bit of a raised edge. And well, someone in a wheelchair or with any accessibility issues, women with strollers have a hard time getting in there, right? So closing that gap, meaning building ramps and building personalized ramps, because every step is different. So Stopgap is about that. And we love them. We think they're fantastic. We need to have that to support people with accessibility issues. And we do workshops with them, and they're open to the public. You can register, you can come in and do a community build, and we build various ramps. Yeah. So that's what we do with them.
I haven't heard about that either, so I'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
All right. So how has like, obviously you had to find a new location, but how has COVID affected things? Like, are you seeing a larger uptake because people are doing more projects, or are you seeing it's gone down, right? Because I know you're kind of limited in the services that you can provide right now with the lockdown and so forth, but when you were open and what you're seeing, what are you actually seeing?
Major uptick. Last summer when we reopened, we had also slots where people can book pickup times, sold out within a day. Boom, book, because you could only accommodate so many per hour, right?
Right.
And so people were home. Now we spend way more time at home. Why not make it nicer, right? Because it's like, whoa, maybe we should paint this, or maybe we should tear down that wall and make that kitchen bigger, or whatever it may be. So lots of projects are going down for people. And it's been really, really sweet. If you follow us on Instagram or anyone else, any social media, we always ask our members, well, we don't even need to ask, actually. Often they come back, they go, oh my God, check out what I did with it. Look at this. Oh, right, I did this and this. And then I started here. Now it's the whole basement, right? And so we have great examples of what people have done and what they've built, and canoes. And I mean, it's amazing what people can do. And a lot of people who, some people, they don't even need to do it because they want to save money. They just want to support the community that way as well. But also giving people an option to borrow something rather than own it. We don't need it. We don't need it in our basements. As I was saying, my co-founder, Frederic, who bought a tool and knew it would sit in his basement, never to be used again, right?
Right.
By the way, we still have that tile cutter in our inventory. Sorry, we still have that tool number one.
and what do you do in term for anybody who might be wondering about like cleanliness and how you disinfect the tools and so forth? What's your protocol for that?
So that's changed over the times, because at first we were thinking, when we first were exposed to the coronavirus, we were thinking, oh my God, we need to put them in quarantine for 3 days. That is no longer the case. We now wipe them down with a disinfectant when they come in, and then they go on the shelf and they can go out the following day. So they do sit, but not for 3 days.
Okay. And everything's getting wiped down though in between.
Yes. Yeah.
So fantastic. Well, this is fantastic. I absolutely love what the Ottawa Tool Library is up to and everything that you stand for and all the work that you're putting out there, because it's not easy. And I love people who will just come up with a plan and take action as quickly as you did. So I love to hear that. And I love to support that, because there's so many people who just talk and don't actually do. And you did not do that. You actually... You talked and then you made it happen very quickly.
I do the walk, right?
That's too.
But I have to say, I mean, yes, I am here, but I'm one little cog in the wheel, right? Like we have an amazing team of people, volunteers, of people who come to support us, even when we were shut down. I mean, we've just been shut down for 5 months. We still have expenses. You still have to pay insurance, still pay the website registration. You pay all the expenses remain the same. Even though we didn't pay rent, well, we pay rent at Diamond, we pay rent at Right, like we still had expenses. And so we actually ran a little crowdfund campaign, because we're like, oh, things are getting a bit dicey. So how are we going to pay for this all? And the community stepped up again. It's like, yes, because we said, buy membership, because if you buy it now, it'll help us. And we know, and we will be reopening, but it will help us right now. And so that's been fantastic. We're really carried by the community. And I'm just a representative of like hundreds of people behind me.
Well, you're very humble. So,
Oh,
so I'll be sure we'll share the link down below, ottawatoollibrary.com. But before we go, Bettina, any parting words of advice or asks of our viewers and listeners?
yes. In view of the times we're going through right now, and the fact that the climate crisis that we are also encountering is really gone on the back burner, I really want people to assess, how can I live more respectful towards my fellow human beings, as well as towards the planet we live on? Start sharing more, start and be kinder. Just, yeah, share, join the tool library. There's other tool libraries. Oh, I have one more thing. See, I have to come back. There's so much going on all the time. But we, one of our tool ninjas actually is starting an outdoor gear library. So it's all about getting people, having people being able to get outside. So yes, you want to go hiking, you need hiking poles. You don't have any, come and borrow them. Do you need a tent? Do you need a sleeping bag to get out camping for the first time ever? And it's, hundreds of dollars to buy it. Come and borrow it. And so they have not been opened, but they're doing their first gear drive this Saturday and Sunday at the tool library, because we're co-located, we're in the same space. So anyone out there who's thinking, hey, wow, I have things that I can do, I haven't used them either, help them out, look them up at Ottawa Outdoor Gear Library. So that's more sharing happening. I have all around.
Lots of gear that I could probably put on there as well.
Awesome. Perfect. We'll come and get a tour of the tool library when we're open again. Come for the tool from the drive this weekend, and would love to show you around.
Sounds fantastic to me. And awesome. Hopefully you get to open soon. A little craziness these days, but looking forward to that. And we're in between places right now too, as we were talking before. So once we unpack things, there's probably some things in there that we're not using anymore that we can get, that are still in working condition, that we can get over to you. So thank you so much, Bettina. Really appreciate everything that you're doing for community and your energy and how positive you are and the message that you're putting out there.
Thank you for having me on, and can't wait to meet you in person. Come and see us. Bye.
Glad you watched this video until the very end. If you haven't already, be sure to hit subscribe, hit the bell button so you get all the notifications and all the great videos that we have coming out every week, including fantastic interviews like this one here with Bettina. And remember to live consciously.